of the invoice, goods or service have been received by you, then your supplier must have paid tax to the government, and you as a buyer must be filing return regularly. This were the 4 conditions they have come up with. After that, they put one more condition by budget change in 2021, which has been made effective from 1st Jan 2022, that you as an SSC, as a buyer, will be eligible to claim ITC only when your supplier has furnished their GSTR1 and same has been communicated to you in GSTR2B. So with 4 conditions, they added 1 and they are saying only when these 5 conditions are satisfied, you would be eligible to claim ITC. Now with this, now they have come with additional 1 more condition where they are saying ITC will be available even when the same is updated in GSTR2B, reflecting in GSTR2B only when same is not restricted. So even though the transactions have been filed by your supplier, showing by filing in GSTR1, the same transaction are reflecting in your GSTR2B, then also you are not fully eligible to claim ITC on it. They have put 6 restriction on it. 5 they have already done. With this, they have imposed more 6 restriction. Now coming to what restriction they have imposed.
Yeah. So just before we get deeper into this, couple of points I want participants to be aware. Way back then, July 2017, when GST was introduced, though we know GSTR 1, 2, 3 was envisaged and 2, 3 could not come up, we were with GSTR 1 and 3B. And books of accounts was the basis for availing input tax credit. Let us look at the transition of the input tax credit flow that has happened. We used to take the credit basis GSTR, basis the credit which is there in the books of accounts. Later GSTR 2A came, we were matching the credits with the 2A, which is sometime in 2018. Then in 2019, precisely 9th October 2019, Rule 36 Sub-Rule 4 has been introduced, stating that you can take credit whatever is visible in 2A plus 20%. Then further they smoothed that to 20 Jan, instead of 20%, it became 10%. 21 Jan, 2A plus 5%. Then the 2B was also introduced. June 20 was the 2B got introduced. And they said whatever is visible in 2B should be the basis for someone who has to take the input tax credit. So this is how the transitions into input tax credit has happened. So now, even though the credit is visible in GSTR 2B, the input tax credit is not available. That is what we are going to see. So this budget has brought many changes which are going to affect. So I just would like to know from the participants that how you are currently coping up with your input tax credit reconciliation. Are you using a software, or are you taking the credit whatever which is there in the books of accounts, or you are still going with whatever is there in GSTR 2A or what is there in GSTR 2B? How are you taking the credit month over month? Monthly, when you are filing GSTR 3B, what is the basis on which you are taking input tax credit? So just like to hear, I would like to understand from the participants as to what is that you are looking at, so that we can now look at that what is that, what are the additional challenges that are going to come. Can I have in the chat that what is the basis which you are taking input tax credit? Can you put your answers in the chat, please? Okay, Guru Prasad, I get it. So software and also by manual reconciliation, but still I would want to know what is the final value are you taking? Are you taking whatever which is there in the books, or 2A or 2B? There's someone by name admin request you to rename yourself. Okay, Tej 2B, Prabhakar says 2B. Here, Deepesh, Shakila, Gangireddy, Kavya, Kesab, Pooja. What is the basis? Kesab says, as per books, and you keep reconciliation, whatever is not there. Got it, Kesab? Sumit, what do you? Bhaskar says, you take the credit basis 2B. Okay. Others? All right. So now I get that. Okay. There are, Akila says matched. Okay. Whatever is there in books and 2A, only that is what she takes the credit. Got it? Got it. So everyone have a different ways of taking input tax credit. Now, effective Jan 22, the 36 sub rule 4 further got amended and said you can take input tax credit whatever is visible in 2B and nothing other than that you can take credit. And if you are taking credit, surely you can expect a notice coming. Now, what Ashika is going to present is, even though something is there in 2B, it is likely that you will not be getting credit. And that is what has been brought in by this Finance Act 2022. Please, Ashika, go ahead.
So as we're discussing how they have made so many changes under input tax credit. So the condition which they have imposed, with that condition, another 6 restriction they have implemented. More or less, it is going to make the seamless flow of credit. Means now the people will think it's better not to avail ITC and pay the tax instead of claiming ITC and going into litigation. Now let us see what are the restrictions they have imposed. Firstly, they are saying that if there are SSC with whom you have transacted is a newly registered person, then they are saying the government may notify for a specified period for the transaction which you have with that newly registered supplier will not be eligible for ITC. So by way of showing it in GSTR 2B, they may restrict the ITC on such type of person. Secondly, if the supplier is a defaulter in payment of tax, if he is not filing his 3B for 1 month, it may be, or it may be for 2-3 months. It's not has been notified how much period they will consider as a defaulter. So for whichever the period which they may think fit, they will prescribe it, and accordingly they will block credit on the same vendor also. Then another issue is, it's very common, is about if there is a difference between GSTR1 and 3B. So if your GSTR1 is showing more as compared to your GSTR3B, that supplier may also get blocked and you won't be eligible for ITC on the same. Fourth point, you're working with GSTR2B. So they have not prescribed till now what will be the limit. If the difference between ITC claim in 3B and 2B, it may be 5%, 10%, 15, whatever rate they are going to prescribe. So they will disallow and block credit to such extent. Then they may also block your utilization of credit also. See, credit, what you have claimed after doing all this calculation also, now they are saying they will put restriction on you how much input tax credit you can utilize to discharge your output tax liability. Fifth, any other person which they may prescribe. So by this 6 restriction, they are going to, even though same are representing in 2B, reflecting in 2B, then also if any of the transaction fall in any of the 6 restriction, then you won't be eligible for ITC of the same. So now you can see now input tax credit calculation has been made more cumbersome. It's not an easy process. Now every line item, every type of remarks which they are going to give in 2B need to be taken in consideration in order to avail the ITC. Now the situation is that being as a buyer, being a genuine buyer, you have made payment to your supplier. Now, if your supplier has not paid the tax, if supplier is making any default, maybe in filing of return or payment of tax, you as a buyer will be held accountable for it. So in this way, somehow, what the government has done, the check which they need to do, which the officer need to do to make sure that the person is depositing the tax, is a compliant SSE, he is regular filing return, has been shifted to the buyer. Now the buyer has to make sure to whomever supplier he is dealing with is tax compliance in every sense. So now the buyer need to know their supplier. It's like KYC we say. So in a similar way, now the buyer need to know their supplier in a way that they are GST compliance in order to avail input tax credit on the same. Now coming to input tax credit only, as we know, whatever the credits we avail by way of 3B is that reflected in your electronic credit ledger. Now, even on electronic credit ledger, they can put certain specified condition on it. Condition with respect to use also, and permission with respect to the utilization, means amount to the extent you can utilize for payment of liability. Now, with this, officer has been given wide power. It may be a case, though this provision has been made stringent in order to caught hold of the defaulter, tax evader. However, it's going to be a troublesome for the genuine taxpayer also. Because of all this process, genuine taxpayer will also suffer. Another thing, as we already discussed, that earlier the concept when the GST was introduced, it was with a 3 form, 1, 2, 3, whereby they say in GSTR1, a supplier will furnish their outward detail.
Ashika, you are on mute. We are not able to hear you.
Yes. So we know when the GST was implemented, GSTR 1, 2, and 3 was proposed to be introduced, whereby they say by way of GSTR 1, supplier will furnish their outward detail, which will be communicated to the buyer in GSTR 2A, and GSTR 2 will be furnished by the buyer, whereby they will obviously submit whichever the transaction they are accepting, they want to modify, does not relate to them, cancel. And then the GSTR 3, there was a final computation of 1 and 2. All this has been not implemented, though proposed, all this were done away. So now the government has also cleared its intention that this will never be implemented, and they have substituted all the section in relation to 1, 2, and 3. Thereby, no two-way communication by which it was proposed has been removed. Now it will be only one-way traffic, where you have to ensure that your supplier is compliant, he is paying tax, and he is regularly filing the return in order to avail the ITC on it. Now, with these changes, there are, though they have imposed various conditions, making it cumbersome to avail the ITC. Also, there are some changes which are favorable also. Like, they have increased the time limit for availment of ITC. Earlier, we can avail an ITC by the due date of following the next financial year, September GSTR 3B due date. Now this has been extended till 30th November. So I can avail ITC of any year 21-22 till 30th November 22. Now coming to a part of another is payment of tax by vendor. We all know one of the initial condition, mandatory condition to avail the ITC is that my supplier must have paid tax to the government in order to avail the ITC. Now in that they have done the changes. Now they are saying if your supplier has not paid the tax, then you are liable to reverse that ITC. Means because of the default of supplier, now you are required to reverse the ITC. Further, not only reversal of ITC, you are also required to pay interest on such tax amount. And that is also at the rate of 18%. So you have to reverse the amount if your supplier had not paid with the interest. However, you can claim that ITC again when the supplier has paid tax to the government. So at one hand they are taking, at the other hand they are giving, but the situation is that who will bear that interest? While paying at the interest, they are saying you are liable to pay interest at the rate of 18%. This interest at the rate of 18%, it will be quite high amount. If we don't know how the supplier, which will be the supplier, but to various business, this interest at the rate of 18% will be good amount of cost to the company. So you want to add anything in ITC?
I would only want participants to look at how is it going to impact in their business. Whatever you have said, and this is what government is intending to bring back. Now, you got to increase the quantum of steps that you are doing to ensure that you are dealing with the right vendor. Because I'll give a simple example. Let's say I have a tax liability of 5 lakhs and input tax credit of 4 lakhs, and the net cash to be paid is 1 lakh. Out of 4 lakhs input tax credit, if some of the vendors, let's say only 50,000 rupees have been blocked for various reasons, either they are newly registered or they have not paid the taxes, whatever be the situation, which means you have to spend 50,000 tax extra from your pocket. If the otherwise the tax you should have been paying is 1 lakh, now we are paying 1,50,000, which means 50% of the net tax liability is being paid more. Imagine the impact that would have on the working capital. You wouldn't have budgeted from the cash flow perspective, because you would have collected from the customers on the due date, which with your terms of sales. Likewise, you would have made the payment. Now, if you do not make good of this 50,000 and file the returns, the challenge will be to your customers. Next month, your customers will not be able to take the credit. So this is like a chain effect which is going to happen. So it is very important that you rate your customers, rate your vendors and suppliers, and have some buffer while taking input tax credit. This is going to definitely going to cause a hassle to the businessman. So you got to first use a software. Why software? It would help in timely reconciliation and also follow up to the vendors. If this is not being implemented, there is going to be a huge challenge. This implementation will at least it has a 9 months, or you can see we are already in Feb end, maybe effective Jan next year this may come live. Now you may ask why Jan if it is there in the budget? Because it has to get amended into all the state acts, and after getting amended it has to be notified, because every section in the act has to be notified from a date on which it would be effective. Basis that it would go live. So this is something you need to be aware of.
Now, the way we have read input tax credit, you can see that now all the checks which the department is required to do is required to make sure that a person is tax compliance, whoever are registered under GST, has somehow they have shifted on the buyer, the person who is going to avail the ITC. All the things which we have read, you can see it's a department obligation. It's a department to look for the tax evader. Now they have shifted it to the buyers. Now they have to make sure their supplier is tax compliance in order to avail the ITC on it, which is a very difficult task because it's obviously a stabilized fact. One cannot be made penalized on the default of another person. If my vendor is non-compliant, my vendor has not paid the tax, my vendor is not filing the return, why as an SSC buyer, purchaser, I should be made liable to reverse the ITC? Why I should not be eligible for ITC? Because the reason is that I, as a buyer, what I need to do, I have my invoices, I have received the goods, I have made payment to the supplier, and I am doing my all the compliances. But due to default of the supplier, I won't be eligible to avail the ITC. Though obviously, though they have given this all this in the provision, but it's all litigative. Various writs has been filed where they have taken a plea that penalizing a buyer for the default of the supplier is not a good one. If there is a default from my side, obviously you can recover a tax, but for the supplier, why you are disallowing me? But however, the way they are wording and the way they are making the law so stringent, but it will be obviously a hardship for the genuine taxpayer also. So from when this, though these are only proposed changes, not yet notified, now we need to make sure with the coming time, we make our books, our GST workings all in compliance with the law in order to ensure that there is no loss of revenue to the SSE. Now, as completing with input tax credit changes, let us bring us other procedural changes which they have brought out and proposed under GST. Is another thing is time limit for issuance of credit note. We all know that for issuing a credit note for financial year 21-22 is by the due date of September GSTR 3B return, that is 20th October 2022. Now this time limit has been extended till 30th November. So if we can raise our credit note till 30th November for the financial year 21-22. Now, another thing issue which arise, what will happen to financial credit note, commercial credit note, whether that is also required to be issued under this time limit, because financial credit note and commercial credit note does not have any impact under GST or on GST. Therefore, this time limit will not be applicable to it. It will only be applicable where the credit note is with GST. GST return. Few changes they have brought on in GST return. One of the one is GSTR1. They want us to ensure that you file GSTR1 every month in chronological order. So you have to make sure your previous month GSTR1 is filed in order to make sure this current month GSTR1 filing. Then even if you don't file your GSTR1, you won't be able to file your GSTR3B. In a similar fashion, you won't be able to file GSTR3B if your GSTR1 is not filed. So you have to make sure that 1 and 3B go hand in hand. It's a good way if you think from the point of view of input tax credit compliances, because unless and until your supplier furnished a detail in GSTR1, same will not be reflected in 2B. Another condition 3B will help in satisfying is payment of tax. So if we think from that perspective, it's a good one, will help in ITC, easy availment of ITC. However, there may be many reasons where a person is not able to file their 3B. It may be due to working capital shortage, financial crunch, or any other reason. Maybe their supplier has not paid them, so they have kept on hold. So from now onward, if you don't file your 1 and 3B continuously, you won't be eligible to file your subsequent period 1 and 3B. Then we all know in 1 and 3B, once filed cannot be rectified. However, they have provided a provision where I can make changes in subsequent month return. So that was provided like for September due date return. Again, the same has also been extended to 30th November, like credit note and input tax credit. So if any omission or error has happened in 1 and 3B, we can rectify till next financial year, 30th November. Late fee.
Only point here, whenever someone is looking at 30th November, it is nothing related to a return, not the return due date of November. It is all the things filed on or before. Let's say April 21, I made a mistake. The time limit to correct earlier was September 22 return. Now nothing like that. Corrections can be done for in any of the return. April I filed wrong. May, June, July 21, including in March 22, provided such correction is done on or before 30th November 22. That's the intention of this inclusion. That's how one has to read, and it has got nothing to do with any other due date.
Late fee relates to TCS return. Now, tax collection, they have prescribed that if there is delay filing of TCS return GST 8, then late fee will be applicable. Now, cancellation of GST registration on non-filing of return. As we already discussed, now you are required to file your 1-3B in chronological order. Even you have to make sure your GSTR 1 is filed before in order to make sure file your GSTR 3B. So if you haven't filed your 1 or 3B, then they have said for a continuous tax period, they have not prescribed how much time or how much period they will consider for cancellation of registration. So in case of normal taxpayer, they have said if your supplier has not furnished a return for a continuous tax period, they may cancel the registration. Earlier it was 6 months. If it's for 6 months return was not filed, then they were cancelling. Now they have replaced it with continuous tax period. And for composition dealer, as we all know, for composite dealer, there is no monthly return or quarterly return. They have to do payment in CMT 08, that is quarterly, and annual return they have to file in GSTR 4. So in line with that, they have made the changes that if the composite dealer does not file the annual return within 3 months from the due date of furnishing of said return, then they have the power, they can cancel the GST. Now, with this, we also come to the interest. This is important change and it's a laudable one. It's a good one which they have made. We all know about input tax credit wrongly availed and utilized, input tax credit wrongly availed but not utilized. So there were lots of confusion we are going whether interest is payable only on when the avail and utilize both the conditions satisfied or only on availment. Now they have clarified that interest is applicable only when the same is availed and utilized. If it is availed but not utilized, you are not liable to pay interest on the same. Similarly, rate of interest was also in dispute. As for short paid tax, they have specified that you are liable to pay interest at the rate of 18%. However, for ITC, there were no particular clause they have provided. Further, there were confusion whether it will be applicable at the rate of 24% or not. They have clarified that on such, interest at the rate of 18% will be applicable. That also with effect from 1st July 2017. Retrospective effect, good one, making the litigation go down. We already discussed about electronic credit ledger restriction. Now over here in electronic cash ledger, they have mentioned that it's obvious there are situations where I might have deposited cash under IGST, though I was liable to pay under CNS. So they have given a provision that I can transfer I to CNS and similar by CNS to I. Further, there may be a case of multi-GST, where I was liable to pay deposit tax under Tamil Nadu, but by mistake I given the GST of Karnataka and paid tax under means deposited cash under Karnataka. Now they have given power even from one GST to another GST. I can use this and transfer my cash deposit, but it should be under the same pen only. If it is under same pen, then only you can transfer to one company to another company. It's not possible.
One
Now,
point I would like to add here is some might be asking that why this provision for SGST is not given. The way ideally they should give, in fact, the recommendation has been given that the SGST can also be transferred. Even if it is not amended, what is the way of doing it? Is we have this PMT09. For example, I have a balance in SGST cash ledger in the state of Karnataka, and I need IGST in the state of Maharashtra. The way I would be doing it is, I would be moving using PMT09. I would be using the balance SGST cash from the tax ledger. I will move that to, and assuming, let us say I want to use this to pay some penalty. So from SGST, we what we have is major heads and minor heads. Major heads means SGST, CGST, IGST is the major head. Minor head is tax, interest, penalty. So from the SGST tax using PMT09 in the state of Karnataka, I will be moving it to IGST penalty. After that is moved to IGST ledger, with the new provision coming in, the CGST and SGST balance of one state can be transferred to another state. Even that way, even the SGST can also be utilized. So this is one thing people should be aware of.
there can be also a situation where your balance is lying in electronic cash ledger, unutilized cash ledger, or due to wrong payment under different GST. Now, earlier what it was happening, if you make wrong payment under different GST, obviously you have to claim refund, and then in other GST you have to make the payment. In order to done away this, they have done this PMT09. Further, of electronic cash balance which is lying, so they have made amendment. They have provided that refund can be claimed under section 54. Earlier there was issue how we can claim the balance refund. Now they have given the prescribed the format and the procedure how you can claim the electronic cash lying on electronic cash ledger refund. With respect to refund also, they have done few changes like we have already discussed for excess cash balance. Now specialized agency of UNO, when they are claiming refund, there was dispute were going on what will be the time period on that. They have clarified it will be 2 years from the last day of quarter in which supply was received to claim refund of tax paid. SEZ, when a supply is made to SEZ, if the supplier is claiming refund, then what will be the due date? They have clarified that in that case, your relevant date will be the due date of furnishing of return under section 39. Another major impact or another important change under refund is about withholding of refund amount. Now, this power have been widened up. Department officer can hold your refund if there is any unpaid liability. So, while claiming refund and all, you have to make sure your 1, 3B both are matching. There is no outstanding liability or any payment payable. Otherwise, they will hold that refund amount against that unpaid liability. With this, we come to the end of our budget update. If anybody have any question in relation to what we discussed, they can ask.
And friends, there would also be changes when the finance bill becomes a finance act. And after it becoming a finance act, don't think it would be effective, as I said, from the day it became an act. You will have a separate notification coming in that section making it effective. So it will have a time. So this is the first part of the GST. We will be moving to the second part of the GST, which is after you file your GSTR 9 and 9C, what are the things that you need to have in terms of the documents and reconciliation to be ready? And some of you, if you have not filed, this would be handy, but my focus is, since having filed it, the GSTR 9 and 9C would be used by the departments for the audit. So what is that you should be looking for in the data which you have already filed?
While discussing this, we are taking one by one aspect. Obviously, we all know there are two pillars under GST. One is outward supply, another is input tax credit. So first, taking your outward supply. In case of outward supply, what are the documents or detail you should have after your filing of GSTR 9 or 9C? It may not be the case only after filing. Even before filing, you should have all this detail documented and kept with yourself ready. Now, when we are discussing this documentation and reconciliation and why we have chosen this topic, is important to know that we all know we are standing on 2120. Now we are doing our GSTR 99C of 2021. Audit though have started, but they have been given 5-year time to do the audit. So maybe for 2021, they are coming in 24-25. There may be change in employee, there may be change in auditor. So if this working are kept on every year basis, then it will be very handy, very easy to explain it to the officer whenever they come, what you have done, how you have done, and why you have done. So now moving on with one by one is first like taking with turnover. For outward supply, it's very important what we are disclosing in 99C as taxable, exempt, or non-GST. All this supply classification, what you are doing, you should make sure you should have the reason for it. For taxable, nobody will ask you, but why you are considering as exempt and non-GST supply, you need to have explanation for it. If you are saying anything as exempt, you should keep the entry number of the notification which you are mentioning in order to conclude it as exempt. If you have any opinion, no problem. That opinion also you can keep with yourself as a record or a part of your 99C working. Similar way, classification of goods or services. If you are classifying your goods is of such nature where there is a dispute, whether it will be it may fall under two different HSN code. You should keep a proper recording why you are classifying under this HSN code and not in other. Then coming to valuation, same pattern like sale of vehicle. We all know we have to refer to notification 8, which says if ITC not available, then sale price minus depreciated value as per IT will be your transaction value and on which you are liable to pay GST on it. However, if it is an asset on which you have availed the ITC, then your calculation will be different. So you have to check what you are valuing. Even in case of distincting person, related person, how you are valuing it, open market value or cost plus 10%, whatever the pattern you are following, you should keep proper recording of it. Then coming to adjustment, there may be some adjustment you have done, plus minus some credit note impact you haven't taken. Now you kept a record that you have to take, or it may also be a case previous year credit note taken in shown in GSTR1 in this year, accordingly reduced in 3B also in current year. So we have to keep all this working ready, and we need to know how we have derived our GST turnover from book turnover. Means what we are showing as a financial revenue from operation and other income, and from that 100 rupees how we have come to GST turnover, and in GST turnover how we are classifying into taxable, exempt and non-GST. Similar way, while we are doing reconciliation also need to be done in multi-dimensional way. When I say multi-dimensional, means each and every aspect it could be done, like rate wise, supplier wise, party wise, registration wise, means multi-GSTN. If you are having, you must have to make sure all this reconciliation are ready with you, and you must keep record of it. because you don't know whenever the department will come, what they will ask, for which the query they will going to raise. But if we will be maintaining our working reconciliation in this pattern, whenever they come, even after 2 years, 3 years, if you have this working, you can explain them at any time. Then what's your difference between GSTR 1 or 3B, 1 and 3B? Further specify whatever the difference you notice with a reason, so that it handy. Keep mention whatever the transaction you are considering, when you are considering. It may be also a case not consider. So if we keep proper record of it, whenever the audit come or whenever the officer come, it will be easy to explain to them why you haven't paid tax, or why this adjustment or this differences is arising. Now, outward summary is basically it's a correlating with GSTR 9. Whatever the tax we have paid it till 2021, obviously we will be showing in table 44. And whatever the impact of 2021, which we have carried forward in 21-22 till September 21, will be showing under table 10 and 11. If any tax payable, we will be discharging GSTR by DRC 03. All this what we are showing under table 4, 10, 11, and the tax which we are discharging with DRC 03, all the workings, all the documents need to be properly maintained. So this is with regard to outward. Sir, sir, you want to add anything?
The only point which I would like to add is focus on exemptions. Focus on where the taxes are not paid. You take an additional opinion from a chartered accountant if need, put it on record. Especially, I have noticed where there is a credit note received from the supplier's taxes was not paid, treated as other income. Something you treat it as, say, rental income received, you did not pay GST. You sold fixed assets, it is one of a transaction, you didn't know that it is liable to GST, you didn't pay GST. Now, in the reconciliations, even after you file your GSTR 9, look at the transactions where you have not paid GST and see why GST was not paid. That is more important than the transactions where GST has been paid. So very rarely there are now rate changes are happening and we need to see the right rate. But there are many situations where when I reconcile with the P&L account, I see I have not paid the taxes for this. So that is where the notices are going to come. Please pay attention to that.
Now coming to another part, input tax credit. Likewise, as we discussed for outward, that we need to make sure each and every type, each and every rate, what we are showing need to be properly documented. In a similar fashion for ITC also, we have to do our expense analysis, which are under GST, with GST, without GST. Obviously, which are without GST, our more concern will be toward RCM, whether RCM is applicable on it or not. So we have to make proper details, whatever our expenses are, which are the expenses may come under RCM, and if it may come under RCM, whether we have properly discharge on it. The working in relation to same is also need to be maintained. If some expenses are there, like in freight only, freight is under RCM, but there are certain expenses under freight only which are exempted, like when it is below 750 or below 1500, if it is related to agriculture produce, if it's related to personal use transportation. So we need to look into the expect. Maybe my freight in PL will be showing 10 lakh, but I might have discharged tax only on 8 lakh. That difference, why from 10 to 8 on 2, why I haven't paid the GST under RCM, we need to maintain proper reconciliation for the same. Now coming to the part where is with GST. When with GST ITC arised. Now with the ITC, now the question arises whether it is eligible or ineligible. So whichever the ITC you feel ineligible, you are not availing, not an issue. But ITC which you are availing and assuming it to be eligible, now you have to make sure it does not fall under block credit. You have to thoroughly go through the input tax credit which you are claiming as per your books by reconciling it with 2B, whether it does not fall under block credit or it is does not under disallowance by way of condition under section 16(2). That is, it may be a case you might have received invoice but not good, or it may be a case also that your supplier has not paid the tax to the government. All this thing we need to look into in order to avail the ITC. So for that, you need to maintain your expense analysis, keep the details which are with GST, without GST, bifurcate on what you are availing and which is covered under RCM. So what, as we discussed, we know ITC which are used for providing taxable and zero rated are 100% eligible, and which are used for non-taxable, exempt or nil rated not available. So all this detail, if you are having a business which is mix of taxable and exempt, you need to maintain proper detail of ITC which is used exclusively for taxable service, and ITC which is commonly used, or ITC which is either used for non-taxable, exempt or nil rated. A proper working, a proper detail of input tax credit register which we use to maintain pre-GST regime. In a similar pattern, we have to maintain under GST regime also, so that when the officer come, we can explain to him what we have considered as fully taxable and why we are considering fully taxable. If it is possible to maintain segregation in tally, if you can maintain, it's better. If you make everything in the tally in your books of account in such a way that that books only speak, then it will be easy. Proper documentation can happen from the software also. Now, one of the important conditions to avail the ITC is same should be reflecting in 2B. So while reconciling with 2B, you have to make sure whatever the ITC which are only in books, not in GSTR 2B, you have not availed, which may be in 2B, but you might have expense of. So you have to check. It may be also a case that does not belong to you. And obviously, there were provisional ITC of 105%. 5% additional ITC, but it has been done away. From 1st Jan 2022, you can avail ITC only when the same is reflecting in 2B. Now, annual return in ITC, input tax credit, which you have availed, we show in table 6, which we are required to reverse, we show in table 7. And obviously, reconciliation with 2A is table 8. So all this working, what you are showing as table 6, 7 and table 8 reconciliation need to be documented. So you want to add anything in this?
Nothing. Again, like how on the turnover one has to focus on the turnover where there is no GST. Here one has to focus on the expenditure where there is no GST. You might be wondering that, okay, I'm only focusing on where there is no GST. And that is where the problems are going to come, especially the reverse charge liability. Department is coming for audit 3 years, 5 years later, and they say, look, this is reverse charge is liable. Let's say you have paid some factory license renewal, and for you, I've just paid something to government for renewing my license. So it's a fees which I paid to the government. So it's like for you, it is a tax. Now go from the officer perspective, he says, no, this is a supply of service received from the government, and hence it is a reverse charge. He would be asking you to pay through DRC 03. Now you might be wondering that, okay, fine, if it all I will have to pay, let me pay and I will take the credit. Anyhow, it's revenue neutral. But unfortunately, 16 subsection 4 will hit and they will say, look, this is the liability which you are paying now pertaining to 17, 18, 18, 19 or 19, 20, whatever, the olden periods. You have an obligation to pay the tax, but for you to avail ITC, you should have availed within the time limit. So this is the issue going to come up. So when, as Ashika was mentioning, segregate your input tax credit into different head of accounts. You also segregate the expenditure into different head of accounts where you do not have input tax credit. Now, why it is very important? Because the reverse charge may kick in, whether it could be import of services, it could be the notified under section 13/2017 or 4/2017 for goods, anything of that sort. That is very important. If you are into real estate industry, even more important, because for that sector, even 9 subsection 4 operates other than notified, which means if you are making a purchases from an unregistered dealer, so only up to 20% of the total purchases are permitted, but beyond that is going to become an issue. So please focus on the purchases where there is no GST while you are doing the reconciliations and working. That's all I would like to add, Ashika.
Now, the impact of past year transaction which you have taken in 2021, in a similar way, present year transaction you have taken in subsequent year, 2021 impact taken in 21-22. All this which we are doing by way of 10 and 11, 12, 13, all this need to be properly documented. Whatever 1920 adjustment you are doing in 2021, 2021 adjustment in 21-22, all this, whether it's related to ITC, outward supply, payment to the RC3, deemed supply, whatever the things you are doing, you have to make sure it is properly documented. Now, why we are saying all this thing is now the way the government is coming with day by day with a new change. With this, they are making GSTR 1, 3B, GSTR 9, 9C more complicated. Now, more complicated, I mean to say, is that any error, even small improper disclosure, can lead to hefty penalty. Mismatch of 1 and 3B can result into denial of credit, can result into recovery without issuance of notice. See, we are human, clerical mistake can happen. There may be a case where in GSTR 1 I was required to show 50,000, by mistake I type 10 more and it's become 5 lakh and I disclose it. But while filing 3B, I know that I have done mistake in GSTR 1. But in 3B, I will show 50,000 and pay tax accordingly. However, the problem is that once the return is filed, it cannot be revised. I have to wait till the next month in order to rectify it. Now, problem with the department, on the basis of the provision, they will say 1 3B mismatch. They will issue me a notice. And the thing is that for 1 and 3B, even issuance of notice is not mandatory. They can directly go for recovery. They can directly go for denial of ITC, what we have read just now, what they have proposed under budget. So now we need to be very much careful of what we are going to report in 1, 3B, 9, 9C. Because even a small clerical error, what I said, 10 addition can lead to a lot of problems. They have the power to block the credit. Now they have also been given power to minimize my amount, how much I can use for credit. So be careful, whatever the returns you are filing, you need to have proper documentation, not only for 9 and C, even 1 and 3B need to be properly reconciled every month. You need to be very much careful, whatever you are disclosing is properly taken care of. With this, we come to our first session, first topic, and GST.
Yeah, so I'd like to hear from the participants on the GSTR 9 and 9C, various types of reconciliations that you have done, or what type of notices that you are getting, in case if you are getting, or do you see some challenge in finalizing anything in GSTR 9 and 9C? Anything you would like to share, or anything you have a doubt? Okay. Guru Prasad has a question saying that we have taken import related ITC in ITC area of 3B. Can you clarify when you say ITC area of 3B, what is that you are trying to say, Guru Prasad? Maybe you can unmute yourself and ask. Okay, if I understand, Guru Prasad, what you are trying to say is, Keshav, can you post your query, please? Okay, Guru Prasad, you are unable to mute it, unmute. Let me just send you the prompt for unmuting. Azhar, can you give a request for Guru Prasad? Yeah, Guru Prasad, you can unmute yourself now. I've sent you the prompt for. You can speak, Guru Prasad. Your voice is not audible.
Hello.
Yes.
In all other ITC area, instead of putting it in import IGST area, in all other ITC there is a fifth line item which comes there. We have taken. I mean to say.
Got it. I understand. So you have done import of goods. Instead of reporting in 4A1, ideally you should have reported, but you have reported in your 4A5 all other ITC, which was otherwise a forward charge credit. This is how you have prepared and concluded your GSTR 3B. Now the question that comes is, what is that I should do, right? So in my GSTR 9, what I should do is the question. Now, whatever you have entered in your all other ITC is ideally expected to be reported in 6B, but you shouldn't be doing it. You should be reporting that value in 6E. Assuming during the year I have only my purchases which are relating to import of goods. I do not have any other purchase. Let's say 1 lakh is my ITC. In 3B, it is showing as 4A5. But when it comes to your GSTR 9, it would be there in your 6A. But while you are reporting, you will report it under 6E. This is how you will be making the correction, Guru Prasad. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Any other questions? Kesab, which is the query you are looking at?
Hello.
Yes, Kesab.
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
See that lift is around 20 lakhs and we have booked as a capital means building account. So our consultant is saying it's an illegal item since this is immovable property, and even we have capitalized on building account. So we are going to 9 and 9C file today or tomorrow, and we are reversing. Is it okay?
Okay. So couple of the 2 points which I would like to state it here. The question which Keshav is saying, that input tax credit on lift, can it be availed? The answer, in my view, it is very litigative. There is no straight answer because 17 subsection 5 clause C and clause D blocks the input tax credit relating to works contract on immovable property. Now the lift has enhanced the value of building, and it would, from the department perspective, they would be treating it as an immovable property. Since you have availed input tax credit, GSTR 9 and 9C is not a place for reversal. The reversal should have happened in 3B. In case now you want to reverse it, please listen to me carefully. Table 7 of GSTR 9. Let me show you. When I say table 7 of GSTR 9, is where you will be reporting the reversal of input tax credit. Wherever the input tax credit if you have reversed, such reversal will be shown in table 7 of GSTR 9. And in particularly, in this case, you have 7E. 7E is reversal on account of 17 subsection 5. On account of 17 subsection 5, which is a blocked credit, you will be reversing. In your case, you have not reversed earlier. So you want to reverse now. So what you will have to do is you have to pay this amount, input tax credit, back to the government account using a challan. We call this challan as DRC03. Using DRC03, you will have to pay to the government. This is something you have to be very clear that using DRC03, you will have to pay it. Once
we are making payment.
Yeah, once you are making it payment through DRC03, report it in table 7 of GSTR 9.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions to anyone?
Yes, sir. I have one question.
Yes, Guru.
This is regarding GSTR 2B credit to be availed from January 22. What has actually happened is import related credit has not come and sat in January, even though our vendor is showing the screenshot of the successful transfer. Now the credit is about 1.8 lakhs. How to take it? Now, if you take it, it comes in red. If it doesn't take it, it's a huge amount.
GST portal has a facility to fetch the details of import of goods. Under the services section, you can log into the portal, and under the services section, you can spool for getting, you can give the bill of entry number, and you can fetch the details of the missing credit which is not there in 2A. Now the question that comes is whether you can claim the credit even if it is not there in 2A is the question which people get it.
Yes.
So let me also show you how this credit can be taken on the portal. Let me just share the screen. Yeah. So you log into the portal, go to the services and user services. In user services, you have this search bill of entry. So you can enter the bill of entry number, the port code, bill of number, basically is a 13-digit number. So a combination of port code and the bill of entry will be there, and you search it. So it will fetch from the ICE gate and update it. That's point number 1, how it can be reflected. Point number 2, the reflection will take at least 2 days time. Now, can I take an input tax credit even though it is not reflecting in this? The answer is yes. If you look at 36 sub rule 4, if you look at rule 36 sub rule 4, this is applicable only in case of forward charge credit. Let me just take you to the rule 36 sub rule 4. This is where people look at the documentary requirement for claiming the input tax credit, whether GST or 2A, 2B is required. Now, this is saying that input tax credit, if you look at this carefully, no input tax credit shall be availed in respect of invoices or debit notes which are required to be furnished very carefully under subsection 1 of 37, which means 36 sub rule 4 is only forward charge credits, which is 4A5 of GSTR 3B is what we are talking. When we say 4A5 of 3B, this is what we were saying, a forward charge credit. 36.4 is not applicable for 4A1 or A2 or A3. This is what one should be aware of. Is this clear, Mr. Guru?
Yeah, that means since it is actually a RCM kind of a import duty, IGST.
It is not RCM. RCM is completely different. It is a levy. Import of service is RCM, but import of goods is a levy which is actually happening under Customs Act. It is not an RCM.
Okay. So even though it is not in 2B, we can take the credit here.
Yes.
In this case.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions by anyone? Especially on the reconciliations that you have to do for GSTR 9 and 9C, whatever which Ashika has mentioned. Do you guys have any doubts? All right. So then we can move to the next part of the session, which is on the tech piece. So we have the tech guy, Mr. Delhi Babu. So Delhi Babu, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Welcome, and let's have the session of yours.
Thank you, sir. Can I share my screen?
Please share, and let me just allow you to share the screen. Yeah. And as usual, go a little slow. So you have been doing it, so you know you'll be doing a little fast, but go a little slow. And participants, we are going to work on two functions. One is next
Lambda.
Lambda, and second is Power Automate. Some of you might have missed the earlier version of Lambda. So Babu, quickly we will have a basic Lambda, and then the next version of the Lambda. So whatever we have shown last time in the Lambda, I think we have used VLOOKUP as an example and other things. Then we will go to the next advanced version.
Yeah, sure.
I think we have shown if someone was getting 30 marks, 40 marks, how will it come up? I think we've shown case function. So
yes.
Yeah. So calculating the commission. So yeah, anything. Go ahead, Babu. Let's show the basic simple Lambda. Then we will go to the next one.
Sure, sir. Yeah, good evening, all.
And participants, you can practice as the session is being, as it is being done. You can just practice parallelly and ask the queries.
Yeah. Okay. Lambda is advanced function. It is available in Office 365 Insider channel. Lambda or let functions. There are another more functions recently released by Office through Office products. Today I'm going to discuss Lambda and let. These two are all very powerful functions. First, I'll show you basic arguments, how it will work. Then we'll see how it will help us to create more functions, and also how it will help us to reduce our time day to day. Yeah. Number one, Lambda. Maybe if you are Office 365 Office Insider channel, then only it will come. See, Lambda having 255 arguments, parameter or calculations. Maybe if you know basic of macros, then you can understand very easily. Otherwise, no issue. You can understand from here also. How we can create loops or some conditions in macros, VBA. Same thing here also we can create. But today I'm showing only basic things. We'll see one by one. A parameter means it's a variable. If you know variable, or you can declare some name for your storage, that will store in engine. Now I'm showing you X and Y. X is one variable, Y also one more variable. See, first X, it is showing parameter or calculation. If I add comma, then again it is showing one more parameter with optional. That square bracket means this is the optional argument. If you want, you can use it. Otherwise, you can skip that one. That also I'll show you how it will help. The second parameter I'm giving again Y. Y I'm giving X and Y. I'll show you. See, in third pattern also showing optional argument. Here I'm adding X plus Y. This is calculation. See, here the formula is a little different. If you want to use inside cell, After closing the function, you can you need to record, or you need to store, or you need to link the value. The first and second, I'll show you how it. For example, the first one is I'm giving 5. Then you close it. Then again you open for second variable. You give again 5 and close it. The system will understand automatically the first value is first variable, second variable second. If you press enter, it will show value. Sorry, 1 minute. Okay, I'll take x plus x equal to 5. Yeah, somewhere I did mistake. Okay, see, I just declared only one variable, x equal to 5, x plus 1, 6. It is giving value 6. This way we can declare variable and we can store values. Instead of hard coding value, we can give some inputs. I'm giving 65 here. Instead of hard coding, you can link it. See, it is adding x 65 and also plus 1. This way you can declare up to 255 arguments. Okay, any doubts up to here?
Let me just show you little the participants. Let me just show you. Okay, you might be wondering like why we need this x, y, and etc. We can also have multiple things. Now, the way let us look at it is there's A, there's B. You can look at it A plus B. If this A is 5 and B is 6, sorry, A is 5, B is 6. For A plus B, you will be writing it as this plus this, right? This is how you will be looking at it. You will be writing, right? This is what we understand normally. Now, how is the system doing it is what we will try understanding with the lambda function. Bobby, now you write put the variables as A and B, and then next to that only yes. So now we have given two variables called A and B.
Yes.
Now we are declaring the first we will do a calculation. We'll close the bracket, which means lambda is done. Whatever the variables which have been declared, then we will have no. Now it's not complete. Babu, you complete the function, then I'll explain.
Yeah, okay.
So it's saying calculation error because it is not identifying what is A, what is B. Now we will link A and B. Again, you will open the bracket. What is A? The first one is treated as A. And again, open the bracket and select the second one. This is treated as B. This is. Or you can put it as comma and segregate it. Yeah. So now you can see lambda has done the. Now the next one we will look at it. A into B. So it is lambda. We have A and B, and what we want to do is A into B. This is what you want to do, right? Then what is A? You will say, okay, you will start declaring the value. Either you can write A and B as 5, 6. You can do that, right? That comes as 30, which is this into this. And the only thing is this is what you have done is like static. Now I change here to 7. Sorry, I change here to 7, it becomes 42, but this is still 30. But now instead of making it static, I can make this as dynamic linking. Babu, can you just link the 5 and 6 to that? Yeah.
Yes.
So now this has become dynamic. Now just to understand what is the formula which is written.
Yeah. Same thing we can create
One
as
second,
a formula.
You can always know what is the formula using this function, the formula text.
Yes.
Now you can see this is what we have written the formula. So basically lambda is for you to create your own mathematical formula. It could be 3 numbers, 4 numbers, 5 numbers.
Yes.
This was a basic lambda which we had shown earlier in the earlier examples. This is what we have shown.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll create as a formula. Instead of declaring variables inside the formula, we can create custom formula.
Okay, Gangireddy, you're asking for zooming the screen. Babu, you are already, I think you are in an RDP machine. So what you do is you can just zoom the data here itself.
Yeah, sure.
A little bit.
So it is showing A argument, B argument. You can create your own custom formula. Any doubts up to here?
Babu, people will be thinking get value is a new formula. Instead of get value, what you can say is Babu. You type it, you create it as Babu. So people, I want people to get that. Okay, it could be anything. And by the way, Babu is not the right thing, but I just want to get, you can make meaningful functions. So you can create. So right now I have created lambda. I just need to declare the variables. So
yes,
I will now say Babu 7, 6, which means I want to multiply 7 and 6. This is how the lambda works. And I would request everyone to start using the lambda. It has very powerful when you have more complications to handle, especially the bank audits are going to come where you have to do an NPA calculations, or whether you have to do a like vendor payment, interest computation and settlement, number of days you want to compute and multiply, some 2-3 arguments you want to multiply or divide and plus something you want to do. You can write that complicated formula, put it, store it in the lambda, park it into the function. Whenever you want, you can just call and give. And Babu, just type the one second. Type Babu once is equal to Babu. Open the bracket. You can see A comma B. Now you might not understand A comma B. You can change that as variable 1, variable 2. You can give any name you want, which you think you will be able to remember. You can say sales amount and commission percentage. So people can select it. Like Babu, on the left side, I see some data, small data set. Can you just go to the left side?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Instead of quantity, you make, can you give it as discount percentage? Yeah. So let's say we want to calculate discount amount. So in the lambda, Babu, can you now create a lambda called discount amount, which is sales A comma B. Instead of that, let's create a new lambda.
Yeah.
Sales value, comma, discount percentage. So he has defined 2 variables. And what we want to do is we want to multiply sales val into
Sales
discount
value
into
discount percentage
divided by 100. So, and you copy this and create. a new formula, calculate discount, and copy okay. So now we have created a new formula altogether, which is not there. You just type DISC. Yeah, calculate discount. This is the formula which is there. Now you can see functions. Can you just go back? Sorry.
Yeah.
Again type is equal to no is equal to no. Any of this is saved in the formula, right? Is equal to
Okay.
Stop. No. Back. So can you see that FX? So this has been created as a new function. Instead of cal, just can you Babu type it as SUM? Can you see? These are the various functions that are there in the Excel, which we are not aware. Likewise, we have now created multiple some more functions. So FX is a function of an Excel. So you have created a new function called calculate discount. So now go to, and can you just open bracket sum? Now it is asking you what is number 1, number 2, number 3, which you want to sum. That is the formula definition of the sum. Likewise, you created your own function, so you will be able to see that. Let's look at that. Now you go, calculate discount, open bracket. So it is asking, okay, give me the sales value and discount percentage. So I'll say this is my sales value and this is my discount percentage. Close the bracket. That's all. It has calculated the discount. So whenever you don't know the formulas, this is the, or whenever you think that you don't want to type the formulas again and again, this is the easiest method where one can create a formula in the formula manager and add it and put it back. Any doubts to anyone at this point? Is this clear? Because the intention was not to show the lambda basic, but if you are not clear with this, then you will not be appreciate the next version of the lambda. Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Babu, I think your screen is frozen. I'm able to see only. Okay, I think Babu has internet issue. He got disconnected. But participants, anyone have any doubts? Anything you would like to say? Have you understood the basic lambda function? Yes, no, maybe. Azar, yes, okay. Is my voice audible? Yes. Nikia, Pooja, Prabhakar, Santosh, Sumit, Tej, Sunil. Have you understood this function? Because we are okay. Kesab is asking, please remit lambda function. Kesab, I would like you to make this a simple try. Is equal to lambda open bracket a comma b comma a plus b, which means you created a formula called a plus b. Define a and b as something. Either you can again close the bracket and you can write 5 comma 6, or you can define some values. It will automatically take care of it. Yeah. So do a try. Now we will see the complications that is coming. When I say complications, there is something called power pivots, power queries. Gone are the days where we want to simply write one macros, or we say that, okay, I know pivot tables, slicers, so I am definitely good in Excel. Now, whenever the interview people come, on a scale of 0 to 10, how do you rate yourself? They'll say 8 and 9. Reason, they say, I know VLOOKUP, I know HLOOKUP, I know what is sum. Now, this is what they will say, and they say, okay, I am on 8 out of 10. But unfortunately, that is the olden era. You can say that I know good only if you can master yourself on power pivots or M language. Every session we have been showing you one query on M language. We are just adding one small thing on the M language. Today, now given that we understood the lambda function, we will add on top of it, on top of the lambda, we will add the power query. So the M language, we will create that in the M language, show the result there, and from there we import that, we copy it into a lambda, and we will present it. I think there is a technical background. Azhar, can you just check with Delhi Babu? He's not there in the.
Yeah.
My voice is audible?
Yes. You're back. Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can share the screen. So now, Babu, you can present the let function in the lambda.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, your screen is visible now.
Yeah. Up to here, any doubts, participants? Yeah, fine. Next, we'll see the basic of let also, how it will work. This is also very powerful function. See, here also we have name one value, calculation value optionals. Here also we have 255 arguments. So this is also very interesting formula. This is little different. See, I show you. Okay, I'll show you with this example only. Okay, A is my variable, but I need to store A value also. This A is my variable, but the value is 7. Again, name 2. Name 2, B is my value, but my value is Z12, that means 6. Now I can calculate A into B. So it will come the same value. This function work like this only. Yeah. If you understand basic, then I can move to next practice 1. The day-to-day, how we can use this function.
We can proceed to the next one, Babu. This is simple.
Yeah.
Now, maybe as you are doing, you can share the Excel file or copy the let formula in the chat also, so that the others can also try parallelly.
Yeah,
but after
sure,
you
sir.
do it, you can share it.
Sure, sir. Here my intention is to get top 3 categories based on sales value using let formula. See, this is my top 3 categories. I'll show you here how to get top 3 values using let formula. First, I show you, right, we need to give storage, that means variable. I need to create one array. You know, right, array means top 3. Then my categories. Categories A2 to A11. Then sales range. Yeah, now I stored values into my variables. Now I need to use this variables and need to get top 3 values. Using index formula, we can get output value. See, the first argument in index, it is asking array. Array means category. Then rows. Here we need to use match. I'll explain you if required, once again, why I need a match large. In large, I'm using sales range and also range array. In this sales range, it will get 1, 2, 3 large values. Sales range 0. See, I got top 3 categories based on value. Any doubt on this formula? I'll explain you once again the logic. In let we can store multiple variables that you know. The first my variable is a range array. That means I need to get a top 3 values. I given manually 1, 2, 3. Second one is my range, data range category. Data range is A to A11. Third one, sales range. That means sales value range B to B11. Using this ranges, I filtered top 3 values using index and match formula.
Babu, I would like to explain it little slowly because
Yeah.
what you told them, that is what I said. There is a difference between your understanding and their understanding. So let's do one thing. So there's something called large. There's something called large. So I am selecting this data, and so I'm just giving one. Let's see what it gives. I don't know what it gives. So it gave 20. I don't know what that 20 means, but it gave 20, right? So if this, if for a reason, instead of 20, if this is 15, 18 is what it is giving. And Babu, you have used a conditional formatting, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll just, so I'll put it one by one here. So I have, okay, so I got the large one. Now, if you look at it, but what Babu has got it here in the using the let function. Where did you give the function, Babu?
Yeah, this one, sir. Yeah, you can able to see.
No. So yeah. So if you look at it, looking at this, what is the output you are getting it? Sorry, I'm unable to. Babu, can you? Now I can. Yeah. So now you can see. Babu, can you just give escape? Okay, your screen is frozen. I'm not able to do anything. Maybe Babu, you can switch off your video because of the bandwidth. I'll also switch off the video. Yeah. Okay, so Babu, can you just use the match function and get the position of 18 in the sales list, please? Babu? Okay. So I think we lost him. Till he comes back, let me explain you this function because it's very important that you understand the function. So I have the sales category to computer. So this is the category and the sales quantity. So this is some 15, 26, 35, 30. Now we want to get the large. What is the largest item that got sold? Why I have used is I want to get the first one, so I have used one. And anyone you're not following, please put it in the chat, because very important that you understand this. Let me just, I am giving you the formula also. So this is the formula I used. I got the large number. But what is the position of this large number? Right now it is showing 48. Now, if I change this instead of 48, if let's say this becomes 10, so the large number has become 30, which is keyboard. Now I want to get the position of the keyboard. So I want to match this 30. Where is this 30 in this my data set? Okay. So, and I want exact match. So I'll give 0, like in VLOOKUP we always give. So this is in the 5th position. Now let's also look at what is the formula. You got the match of it, which is it is in the 5th position. Now, why do it becomes dynamic? How does it become dynamic? Now instead of 30, now this tool becomes 55. Now you can see the large one is in 3rd position. Now let us get the actual name of it. So I use a function called index. I use a function called index. In this data set, give me this. So now you can see index. So now if you can see, I have received the largest item which got sold is tool. Now if this becomes let's say 7, the largest item is now becoming keyboard with 30 units sold, right? So this is how you got the 3 different functions. So you got the large item, the position of the large item. This is in the position. So this is the item quantity, this is the position, this is the item name. That's how you have actually defined the position of it. Now the combining these 3, I am creating a function called let function, and that let function is what we will push it to the lambda. Yes, Babu is back. Babu,
Yes.
I think your internet is dropping in between, Babu.
Yes. So can you give permission to share my screen?
Yes, 1 second. Yeah, you can now. So I have explained the data. Now you can put that into let.
Super.
Participants, you understood what we tried to achieve? Do you got it right? Anyone, any doubt so far?
Yeah, I think you explained well, sir. Index match, also match and large for how it will work.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll see in practice too how to get some range of values dynamically. See, this way,
and
I'm getting
you will
region.
We will be sending you this file, so
Yes.
where you can also watch it. You will also have the recording of it. Watch it. First time it will be looking challenging, but as you use it, it has a huge value.
See, I need a dynamic summary of a region category with the, if required with the total, we can add total also. See, it will update dynamically totals. We'll add few records below. That will change values. See, if record will copy and paste here. It is changing 76 now. Okay, this is completely dynamic values. Whenever you want to create dashboards or dynamic values, dynamic tables if required, or if you connected with any other databases, you want to see dynamic values, you can use this way. There are few combination of formulas. We need to use these formulas, and we can store these complete formulas to lambda, and you can use as a single formula. I'll show you how to get first this table. Then we'll see one by one, step to step. As you know, first we need to declare variables and value fields. First, I'll show you I'm using unique first to get unique values from this range. See, I received unique values from this table. Now I want to sort these values using sort formula. Here it is in optional argument sort index. We can use index here, comma 2. It will sort 1 and 2. That means column 1 and column 2. See, it is sorting by column. Is my voice audible?
Yes, Babu, it is audible and it is clear.
Yeah, thank you, sir. See, now we got range. Yeah, we'll take region and category instead of product or anything. This okay, fine. Now I need to get sales value. Using choose formula, you know, choose, lookup, VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, these are all lookup formulas. The basic lookup is choose, then lookup has came, then VLOOKUP, then now in latest version XLOOKUP. The choose will ask first index. Now I'm giving index, comma 2, comma 3. Why I'm giving 3? That means I need 3 columns. Okay, instead of creating this one, we'll use before this one let formula. Let, I need unique values. See, this is my first variable. For first variable, name value is this one, the short unique values of these 2 columns, category and product. Now I'm using report values. You choose the first index, a given array 1, 2, 3. I need 3 columns. Then from unique list, the first one, it will take from unique list, it will take first table. Second, I'm giving same unique values. See, U means already I stored here U. The U means the short and unique, the J and K range. Third argument, I need to get some values. Sum if S. Here, some range, we can declare that range column also, but anyhow, I'm giving dynamically here. Then the second argument is criteria, that means category. You know sum if S formula, right? Otherwise, I'll show you after this execution of this formula how sum if and how choose formula will work one by one, as Venish has showed. Okay. In sum if S, the first argument is sum range, second argument is criteria range. In this, I need criteria. For this, I'm using index formula. In index, the array is my short value. That means that a range of category and product. Then row, I don't want row, but from column 1 I need it. Then okay, one more thing, in Office 365 it will understand that arrays. In before 2007 versions, you need to give exact values. Now if you give the complete range also, it will understand, it will take that exact position of the value. Second one, product. Okay. Here also I'm using index, my storage range, column 2. See, again I'm explaining you in let formula. The first my storage is u means unique values. See, name one, if you select, it is unique value, storage value. For that, this is the range. Second, calculation. This is the choose formula. In choose, the first argument index numbers I given 3. That means I need 3 columns in this data table. The first one is from that range, first field. Second one also second field. It will recognize automatically based on this index number. The third one I'm using sum if s. Okay. See, it is giving values. Dynamic values. Okay, now I'll show you quickly the sum if s. Sum if s also having 255 arguments. The first argument is sum range. I'll show you the basic thing. This is my sum range. Then my criteria range is category 1. For this one, my category I'm taking furniture. Second, product, bookcase. This way it will work. Same thing, the same formula included in let formula. See here. Instead of using that reference, I'm using index. I'm using inside variable values. Any doubts up to here? Okay, now we'll see how to add totals, dynamic totals to this table. Okay, for this one also we'll give one report name. This is report. Now it will recognize as, sorry. See, this is now report. Now I'm creating, now I'm using sequence formula. In sequence, it will ask rows and columns and start and step. The start and step is optional and column also. But here I'm using rows. Why I need rows? I'll show you. From this range, there are range we declared 2 columns into this range. See, it will give you range. It will create table. Using this one, this table, again I'm adding 3 columns inside the data table and my execution value is sum. Sum means m:\m. See, you can able to see in bottom, it is added the total of the table value.
Babu, put the total somewhere right side down just to check that whether the total is coming correctly.
Yeah, sure, sir.
You here only just below that. Okay, you can just give some column M.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It is same only. Okay, now We'll add here grand total. If required, I'll add formula text here. You can monitor from here. Right. Yes, okay. See, in switch, the first is expression, second one will value result. Now I need another row insertion and value. Rows.
And participants, again, switch is a new command in Excel where you have A and you want it, A means something else.
Yes.
And switch that with something else.
Yeah. See, you know already row formula, row and rows. Rows will give the total data table count of rows. I'm multiplying with 3. That means it will move to column 3. Here I'm minusing 1. That means it will jump to left. Now the result value I need grand total. See, it is added grand total now dynamically. Again, I'm showing you, this is my expression. Second, this is my value. This will identify last column and last row. And this is my result. Again, my value 2. This will identify last second row from the data table. This is my result. After this, there is again NA in this row. We can remove this NA. See, now it is added blank here. Grand total, total value. Finally, we got totals. Okay, in switch function, the next argument it is showing default or value 4. I don't want any value 4. I don't want. We need default value. Default value means this summary of this value. That means report. Already I declared report for this value, RPT. You can use it. See, now we got it. Sorry.
So what we tried is, firstly, we got the data, which is product name is unique. Under which category we got the data. This is something like a pivot. Now you might be understanding how pivot tables are working. You can see pivot tables are working in the simple method of elect. So we have now created our own pivot tables.
Yes. Now, how to add this let function into lambda and how to create new function, we'll see. Yeah. Just I'm copying this formula. Yeah, here we need to do some links. Anyhow, I'll try here only first, then we'll see lambda. First range, then I'm adding this formula.
Babu, you are putting
Yes, sir. See, this is I declared this range. Now I'm changing this range. Then if required, we'll add sales value also. This is my sale value. Another one, product. My category. Sales value. I think all places I replaced with my variables, right? Okay, unique range is there. Choose sales value category. Okay, perfect. Category. Yes.
Babu, next time copy it into a text file and copy paste from there. It would be easy so that you don't.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It is showing.
No, you can't do this. Yeah.
Okay, I'll debug here only. This is my range. Oh, okay.
Oh, where did you close the lambda and where did you define range?
Yes, sir. Cat column.
So participants, now for most of you, you might be like checked out. I really don't know what's happening. Is where you would be left with an experience. Don't worry, first this Excel file will be shared. So you work out for yourself. And it worked in the let. Now we from the let, what we are doing is we are pushing it to a lambda function and taking it. So we got to be very careful that what are the values that are being defined. Now we are converting everything into a dynamic variables. So this function now, the way it would work, like how in the pivot table you select a range. So right now in the lambda, we'll be selecting a range.
Yes. Yes, now it is ready.
Hopefully. Put it into edit mode and yeah, correct.
Perfect. It's created. Here we can use This formula, it is asking first range. We'll give this range. Then sales value, it is asking sales value. Second category column and product column. Yes, created. If required, we can add decimals, formatting, anything. The conditional formatting also we can add inside this let formula.
I'm sure still for most of you that, okay, this formula is complicated. I'm happy with pivot tables. I'll continue to use pivot tables. But trust me, there are many things not possible with the pivot tables. In the pivot tables, can you get the unique, the quantity? Not possible. So it is a matrix. So now when you know this lambda and you can create some functions, you can use it. It's like you can go beyond what is not possible in the pivot tables.
Yes.
Yes.
Any doubts up to here?
I guess Babu, they have to try it out. So
yeah. Sure.
I think we'll move
then
to
I'm going to show you Power Automate. Yeah. The Power Automate is Office product. It is very powerful product. You can create your activities, workflow, anything you workflow related, you can create using Power Automate. There is two options. One is online and desktop versions. You can use that one. You can create workflow. But here I'm showing you the basic how it will work and how we can create workflow in Power Automate. Then based on that, you can practice based on your requirement.
Yeah, for you to use the desktop version, it has to be in Windows 11. Firstly, it supports in Windows 11. Second, you got to be either having Office 365 license or Office 2020 desktop license. Both you need to have in case if you are trying to integrate with any of the thing. Let me give you a simple example or visualize how the Power Automate would look like.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a job of every day morning. Let's say in your organization, you have 3 bank statements. You log into the bank portal, you will see the bank balance. You will copy it into an Excel sheet to a sum total, send out an email. That is what you have to do. You know, this is what you have to do. Boom. You set it into Power Automate. It will exactly, you'll say, go here, log in, take this and send it. Situation 2. GST, there are a lot of notifications that come. So every time notification comes, you select that copy and put it into an Excel. Not necessary. Go, you give it to Power Automate, it will do. Yes. Situation 3, you have some invoices that have come in the approved invoices has come to you in an Excel. You have to open Tally and do a data entry. You record it to Power Automate saying that, look, here is my Excel, this is debit, this is credit, this is amount, this is generation, go take and punch it. You train the system. Power Automate is RPA, a robotic process automation. It will start taking and doing and giving it to you. So Power Automate is the mini version of robotic process automation. So what you can think of robots are there, that is what is going to Power Automate will happen.
Yeah,
so
nice.
Babu, the online version or a desktop version?
It's online version.
Yeah, yeah, you are on the browser, correct? I can see that. So if Babu is now showing the online version of, and I would recommend people, you can go to switch to Microsoft 365. Everything is you get any browser, you don't need system, so your data is there, you can start working from there.
Yes, here I am going to show you one simple step. If we load one Word file or any document into OneDrive, it will create a PDF and it will send automatically to the reporting person. Or if you want to, suppose if there is a security controls, if anyone is deleted your drive, if you want to add that logic, if it is deleted automatically, that will send to that reporting person. This method I want to show you here with workflow.
Babu, I just want to explain the participants the Power Automate ones.
Yeah.
Let me just explain them. How. All right. Now you can see on the left side, there's a home, action items. Let me just, action item is like you want to take something, then there is a flow. You can create some data thing from, you can create your own Power Automate files, like how you create workbook 1, workbook 2. Then there are connectors, pre-built connectors that are available. Then you can define the data from where the data is coming and going. All those things can be defined. And not just that, when you go to connectors, you have connectors that are available, the multiple connectors that are available. It could be your simple Excel onwards, because that's what we've been doing it. So you can see, you can connect to any of these tools that are readily available. Then AI builder is what people can actually create data models, and that the system can do it. When you take a desktop version, you have multiple more, and yeah, so when you take a desktop version, you have even more options that are available, where you can integrate with the Excel local. So you can save as an Excel, you can email Excel, all those options that are also available. So
Yes.
yeah.
Any day-to-day tasks also, they can send reminders, anything.
And what you are seeing on the screen, so Babu has created some save Gmail attachments to your Google Drive, or save email attachments to file system. So there are some already available data which is already done. It's there. You can take that also. Yeah. So yes, Babu, you can create one new.
Yeah. Here we can create our own flow based on our requirement, and also there are many templates based on business and requirements. But here I am creating my own workflow. Here also there are multiple methods. One is automated cloud workflow and instant cloud flow, schedule and desktop and business process flow. But I'm going with automated cloud flow. Here we can create our own workflow. Just I'm giving my project name. Flow name is create PDF and send email. Choose your flow trigger. These are all applications. Here I'm using OneDrive. Yeah, because I'm not a business person, business account. That's why I'm using, when a creative file with OneDrive should trigger actions. It should execute actions. Sorry.
Click on create.
Yeah.
So OneDrive is like your Google Drive.
Yes.
People are using shared drive. So suddenly,
Yeah,
if someone creates a file there, you'll get a notification automatically. Someone
yes,
deletes, get a notification. So we are creating a workflow automatically being intimated to you.
Yes, if required, you can add a Google Drive or Dropbox or Azure. There are some other connectors also. See here, my folder. I'm giving my attachments folder. This is my first step. If there is any file created in this folder, the next step, what to do? Next, I want to convert. Okay. Or to convert file. There are many features. See, file identifier. That means we can use file name, file path. Sometimes there may be chances, there's some errors. That's why I'm using file identifier. That means the database master ID, it will pick a right file. I need to convert to PDF or some other formats also there. Just I am converting to PDF. Next step. Okay, I need one copy PDF into my OneDrive again. So where to create, will ask. I need to have this copy on PDF output folder. File name, I'm giving file name. It will display automatically. See, the dynamic contains file name. Then file content also can use file content. Next step, once it is created, see first one file created in OneDrive, automatically it will convert to PDF. Then the PDF will store to some another folder. Now my next action will be Gmail, or if you want Outlook, or if you want to Teams, if you want to send to some another network also, you can send it if it is available, that app in this list. Send email. If it is a database, there we can get automatically the database fields, but this is just a file based workflow. That's why we need to create mail ID manually. Subject created of display name, that file display name. Here also in body also will add the display name. If required, we need to send that PDF, or only if notification is fine, we can use this one. Otherwise, we can add attachment also. See here that content is showing the name of the file or folder. Display name is fine. Content display name. See the you already monitoring the steps. If required any middle steps also we can add, but this is very simple step. Yeah, I'm saving this flow. See, my workflow is created. You can see that workflow here. Create PDF and send email. Now we'll upload some files to OneDrive. This is my attachment folder. Here I'm going to upload this Word file. See, I just uploaded. Maybe it will take 10 to 15 seconds to convert, and it will trigger email to my mail ID.
You see the workflow is active in the Power Pivot, Bob?
Yes, it is active.
Okay. It's on, status showing on.
In your flow runs, you will see it still.
should run automatically. Save this, yeah.
Everything is correct. Go check correct. Errors, test it.
Yeah. So now the flow is running.
Yes.
So
2 seconds when file is created, converted file 3 seconds, create file 6 seconds. Yeah, email sent.
now right now it's set to manual mode. You can set.
Now I received it with attachment. Yeah.
So
This way we can do workflow using Power Automate. You can use for your day-to-day activities for approval systems. For example, PO approval. You can create your PO automatically. It will trigger to management. Some purchase department, some departments they will approve. Otherwise, if you need second level, third level also, once they pass, that will trigger to some other next manager level. If all the process is completed, then that will come and sit into your database. That way, there are many methods you can use based on your requirement. Suppose if you have any employee onboarding, you can create employee database. Then you can schedule for interview. Then second level for the interview one is completed, then you can trigger for interview 2 based on that schedule. That will trigger email to candidate and also interviewer both. They can connect and they can do interview, then they can update their feedback also. Finally, if they give any offer letter, they can automatically through email only they can submit, they can send offer letter using the prefixed data with the candidate information. There are many methods based on your requirement you can use. There are already inbuilt templates. You can use that inbuilt templates based on your requirements and you can use it. This is one simple flow I created and shown you. If any doubts here, you can ask me, please.
any questions to any of the participants? I'm sure both of these are advanced thing, and it takes time for you to digest, understand. But our endeavor is to upgrade the knowledge of the finance professionals to the next level. And most of you, you might be thinking that this is not for me. This is for the tech team in the office. But no, it is all for all of us. So please go ahead and start using it, try it out. That's all I can say. And Babu, it's a good job because it's a new thing that has just got into the market some time back, and you could able to create a flow and demonstrate. I appreciate your efforts, and thank you so much for preparing, planning, and presenting. Participants, I would like you to really know that doing session is not just this 1 hour. It is here. It's like for us to do a 1 hour session, we at least need to do a 1 to 2 days preparation. So I wholeheartedly appreciate both Ashika and Babu for taking time out and educating and enriching us for our monthly session. Thank you, Babu, and thank you, Ashika.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to present technical and technology modules.
Yes, thank you. All right, with this, we have come to end of the session. Before we close, any doubts to anyone? Okay, so we can close the session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.